Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Let me get the chat going. Let me know in the comments if you are here. Just getting my tea ready. Oh my God, we have a cool call coming for you guys today. I'm really excited. Okay. So I want to thank you guys for putting all those images in the Facebook group. Obviously, I couldn't get to them all, but I was tempted. I've been working for hours on them, looking at so many of them. And I just got to say that I think you're going to really see today how this isn't like a luck thing, you know. This is rock solid information that can improve your art. I was just grabbing different work, and it doesn't matter the kind of art. It doesn't matter any of that. In so many cases, I was able to improve things. And I want to say also that if one of the other coaches was doing it, there's many ways to improve a picture, right? But we can all kind of agree when it gets better. There's different things that you can enhance. There's different ways to do it. So don't think that because I've adjusted a certain way that that's the way it needs to be. It's more that was a principle I used to make it better. And there's other ones as well. So just so you know that. So Terry, how are you doing today? See, she wasn't ready for me.
I was not ready. Oops. Can you see me yet? Oh, my video is coming on. Hold on. Here we go. It's taking a little while to warm up. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, really good.
Yeah, we have some great things in store today.
Yeah, you guys, it's going to be really, really cool. We will be doing some demonstrations. Let me know in the chat if you saw yesterday's call on intuition and intellect. That seemed to land pretty well. We had a lot of really great feedback and questions and things from that. We're going to do a little thing that's a little similar actually today. It's different, but related to that. So that'll be a live demo that's coming up. I'll be going over, of course, we'll be answering all your questions on the Creative Visionary program. We still have a lot of people coming in, which is so great. And we have our big artist party. So that's what we've been working on. That starts tomorrow at 12 noon. And that's going to be a 4-hour marathon. And I'm just so excited. We've been talking to all the artists, getting all their slides together, and they're going to be beaming in live. So it's going to be really, really cool. Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to say, if you can't join us live, or if you can't join us for the whole time, that is recorded, and you'll be able to watch it after the call. So if you can't make it or sit for the whole time, that's totally fine. You can see it in the recording.
Yeah, lots of people. I mean, obviously, people don't have 4 hours necessarily to stay the whole time, but some do. But you can pop in and see some of it and then come back, but it is all recorded. So I want to give a shout out to you folks on YouTube, Cecilia, Dorothy. You guys, thanks for being here. Irene, Peggy from Michigan again. I'm starting to recognize you guys now. Julianne Mather. Late night, fantastic. Good, Allison, this is the first time she's been able to watch a friggin' live thing. Isn't it crazy how busy we can get? So I'm so glad you made it. And in the Facebook group, we have Kathy and Rachel and Margaret. I just saw the comment go by. There's Mardi Gras. I think she's in New Orleans. So that's pretty wild. Julie is getting a lot out of this, saying this is so inspirational. And Ria from Belgium, welcome. So cool. And Darcy, I think I might have worked on one of your paintings there. I don't know how many Darcys we have, but I'm just saying. Because I'm recognizing names. Okay, so we had a couple announcements. We've been getting a lot of questions from people around who are coming in, and something we haven't really talked a lot about is a payment plan for the Creative Visionary program. Do you want to touch upon that, Terry? Because that's, for a lot of people, it's almost like a membership, because you have the program for a year, and to think of it as like a monthly thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. So of course we have the full payment, and we have the 6-month payment program, which is $457 a month. But we also offer a 12-month payment program. And like you said, that's kind of like, we think about memberships, and you have this for a year, and it may be a little bit easier to make the payments on a monthly basis. So that payment plan is $232 a month. So if you're interested in that, send the team, they're waiting for you, send the team an email at cvp@art2life.com, and they can help you out with that plan. So just so you know.
Okay, good. That's great. Okay. Perfect. Elmira from Canada, welcome. Okay, so how should we do this, Terry? Do you want to? So what we're going to do, we're going to start out, you guys, with a demonstration. And we thought it would be really fun for Terry to do this one. I roped her into doing it, but she has such a cool way of working, which I think you're going to just love. And so why don't you come on over, Terry? She's going to use my setup here, and we're going to kind of do this together, but I'll show you how this works. It's kind of cool. This is related to something I do in our destination workshops. It's an exercise, actually. It's related. It's not the same, but when somebody gets really stuck in their work and they're really frustrated, I do this game with them. It's like this call and response thing where I'm like, look, just put all your paint down, put all your materials down. We're just, just sit down, just relax, because they're, tearing up. It's like, they're just nothing they do they're just thinking too much, right? And so what we do is, and it's really fun, we basically do a call and response. I'll make a mark somewhere on the picture, and then I'll say, listen, all you have to do is the next move. You just need to do something anywhere on this picture that's different than what I did. And it can be a different color. It can be it wants to be in a different place, different shape, different size, but make it so it's different. And that just kind of narrows the person's focus down to that next step. And then they do that, and then it's my turn. And then I do something that is different than those two things in a different place. And we kind of build this picture together. And it's really, really amazing, because that's what we're doing. That's really at the root of it. That's kind of what we're doing. And it always, the person's shoulders drop and they kind of get into it, and it's fun, actually. And it's really kind of cool to see what everyone else would do, what somebody else would do instead of you. Sometimes we do this as a group, which is fun. We just go around and we can kind of cheer each other on for like how beautifully different the thing is that we do in response to something else. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's kind of what we're going to do here. Okay. Yeah, right. Rita's saying exquisite corpse model.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Okay. So what camera are we going to use here?
Yeah, AJ, do I have to be
Nick, you're just going to switch over a camera. That's all you got to do.
Oh, I got to switch my head over. Okay.
All you got to do. Just like the normal regular setup, you just switch it over just like we normally do. And then we go right. And there you go.
Okay.
Perfect. And,
Okay.
I need to be where you are.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to move over. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to let Terry, move in.
For sure.
I'm going to take my phone and my tea.
What's that? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just getting set up here.
Do you have your
And I
brushes and
brought-
stuff?
Yep, look at AJ's
Okay.
set up here.
All right, well, I'm going to
Here's
move
the
this
rock
then.
star here. And do you have your crayons? Oh, here's some crayons. Great. I'm going to steal some of your crayons. I'm not even worried about colors. I'm just picking some out. So where's my intellect? Where'd you go?
I'm going to go and get a milkshake.
Okay.
I'm going to take a break. I'll be in the other room. Okay.
Okay, so you guys.
And I don't know how we're going to fit this in, but this was what we were doing
Yeah, I
yesterday.
don't think we are going to fit that in.
Okay.
I don't know if we need that. So,
Okay, but before we start, what we're going to do here, you guys, this has never been done on YouTube, ever, ever. I'm going to try, so Terry's going to be working in the normal way she works, which is mostly over here. And she was saying the other day, like, she knows the principles so well and she's integrated them and everything, but so she doesn't even like talk about it. It starts becoming almost habitual. But I'm going to pull her out of this over here and ask her questions as she goes, just to sort of like help break down what she's doing as this work, as her work improves.
Yeah.
So,
we didn't practice this.
no, we didn't.
This
We didn't
is
practice
something
this.
that we
Yeah,
have
but it's
just
always
not-
better, as you know, if you don't practice.
Yeah, we always have these calls, and we, so I'm just like, I just need to make this painting a little bit more live. Like I started on this the other day if you guys were on the call, and I just feel like we should add some great.
So you're adding really saturated
Yes.
colors, but there's already blue. Isn't it kind of garish to you?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, okay,
Totally
so.
garish. I don't want it to
But she just wants to like something to respond to. So, and this is what we were talking about, be bold. When are you going to go for it if you can't do it in the beginning? You're certainly not going to do it when you've fallen in love, right? Okay, so.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of have this green. I mean, this green does not go at all. Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm not really thinking color choices right now. I'm just kind of like laying some stuff down. And, I have some of this pink, and maybe I just take a round brush and maybe, let me just get some dirty pink here, and I'll put this in here and more white.
Yeah, let me move this up a little so you can see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go. So, I don't think that's red light, is it? Oh, I don't
yeah,
think so.
no, here.
No, yeah.
I'll be
You're
the-
hiding,
I'll be
you're
the-
hiding
I'll
the
be
painting
your,
colors from me.
I'll be your paint bitch. No. I'll be your paint jockey.
Oh, okay. I knew that wasn't the right red. But that's kind of like from, just working with the colors so much that you kind of like put it down. You're like, hey, wait a second.
You wanted a warmer red,
Yeah,
right?
I wanted a warmer red.
And cad yellow light, cad red light is, see how much more warm it is, so much more orangey it is compared to cad red medium. So that's why she switched. She went from this to this.
Yeah.
Why? Because she has all this pink in there,
Yeah. And I just, I've just been putting things down very organically. And now all of a sudden I'm like, oh gosh, all of my lines have been totally just organic. So now I'm going to use that paint tool that we talked about. And I am going to basically just make this line straight. And I'm going to just pull through it. So now I'm just trying to find differences just for a little while. I'm not going to stay in that mode very long, but I just want to create some differences. So I've got some straight lines now. Now I just feel like, okay, I kind of work somewhat fast when I'm in this mode. So if I'm going too fast, it's just because that's just looking for a color. Here, let's use this one. Oh, I picked a pink. I didn't even know what I picked because you can't even tell what colors these are.
Was this one in your junk pile?
Oh, yeah.
This
yeah.
is when you started, though. Didn't you start this one?
I just
that's
put
right,
the blue
yeah.
on it when I came. Remember, I said, oh, let's just add some like really cool like stuff. So right now the paint's kind of wet on wet, and I don't really mind that. You know what? I'm going to steal this little tool right here. Oh, I need my trowel too. I need the fear buster.
Okay.
But now,
Oh, it's down there. It's down
no,
there.
right there in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
So now I'm just going to, and you can even use this thing to make a straight line as well. So I might just like wipe that in there, but you can kind of see, oh, now I'm going, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize it, but I made two of the same shape. So now I got to make a decision.
Wait,
okay.
what
I made two, look, I made two blue things the exact same shape.
Yeah.
That's so crazy when you don't even realize it. Where's your gray? We just need some plain gray.
We tend to, and you guys, just so you know, and I did notice this when you're working, we tend to make things the size of our palm, so hold your palm out.
Yes.
See, so we measure this, and then we go look, we see the sizes, and that's just what we tend to do. So just know that and don't beat yourself up. But then you got to she caught herself, and she wants to maybe make some of this difference. I don't mind those two horseshoe shapes. But,
well,
yeah, you get to change. It's your
right.
paint.
And when I see myself doing that, and like you said, size of your hand, it's like time to make a brush change. I was working with a little brush and this tiny brush, but now I'm going to go big. So I'm going to here's my little paint guide. And now I'm going to angle this too, because everything seemed to be going straight up and down. So I'm going to make an angle. I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to just come in here. And I think I'll just get rid of all of that, actually, that blue on the side. And then I'm going to trowel over it so that it is smooth like that. And those little blue lines coming through are pretty cool. Maybe I'll just take this trowel and I'll scratch through here and make some fun stuff so that the blue is now carried to that side of the painting, but in a very delicate way. And then because I have these marks, I might want a thin mark like here, like of the same kind of thing. And maybe it comes down here and it goes over here.
Like you're making it's almost like harmonizing color. You're making a common thing appear in a few places instead of just one. Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then going back to this yellow, I'm going to add a little white to the yellow, and there was a little bit of this kind of mother color in here, and I'm going to put it next to the yellow that was there. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that it is different. So it's not the same yellow, but it's next to the yellow that just came straight out of the tube, so to speak. So I might just put a little bit more on this end too. And I might carry it up here. Oh, I have 3 hands now. Where'd that hand come from? He always tries to mess it. Look, I've got 3 hands. He always tries to mess up my paintings.
It's like having 3 hands, once you know.
Yeah, you can't be a good artist unless you have 3 hands and 2 brains. Just kidding. Okay, I'm just gonna make this shape. I really like how these 2 shapes just came together right here. And it's hard to maybe see on the camera. I'm just looking up at the camera, but they're a tiny shade off. So it's just kind of like fun to like see that. But again, this is kind of that conversation. I think you told us, or not the story, but I always have that in my mind when I'm painting. You know, if you're going by a gallery, there's got to be, your piece has to be in the window and it has to like kind of stop traffic. But then when they stop and they come inside, then they get to see like these very subtle changes right here and right here. You can see it a little bit more in the bottom. So I like to work on a lot of pieces at one time. And when I kind of get to a point where I'm like, oh, I don't know where I'm going to go next, I'm going to probably just put this in here, right here. And that's a little wet because it's kind of wet now and it's kind of hard to continue. So I probably will switch paintings.
But before you go, your loud conversation, what you've got here, show us where your eye is going. I mean, do you like...
Well, it's funny because I just realized, like, I wasn't doing this, but like I have a green shape here, here, and here. And I like that. And the pinks are here, here, and here. So I think I'm always somehow moving the eye with color and, you know, and saturation. And I also love these areas like this that I didn't cover up yet. I might cover those up. But I think in my work, I think for me, it's about the friction. Like I want friction. I don't want it to be... You
mean like tension?
Tension, yeah. I want the viewer to kind of question the color choices and I don't want it to be ordinary. This is just my personal preference. And it's not for everybody. I mean, these are, you know, just choices that you make when you paint.
Do you bring black in it soon or white? I mean,
let's just put black in it. I will. You know, this is kind of like the playtime that, you know, you're just kind of like, Nick. So I'll do a little Nick shape up here and I will do one, maybe I'll fill this in black so you guys can see like what that looks like. So.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah. So that's just pure black.
Look at how I'm looking at the screen that you guys are seeing. Isn't that amazing how it really, you know, we talk about finishing things, you know, how do you finish things? And part of finishing them is sometimes having a full range of value. Like if you brought a little white in, can you put a little white in someplace just to rock it? And you'll see it's like, pure white. If you only have 5 minutes and, you know, the train's leaving, you got to finish something, just do this. White and black, you know, with all those colors. Look at that, what that does. See, it accentuates the colors.
Yeah, and if you put it next to something that's really dark, it's going to look really cool.
Rita's saying, Dawn says, doesn't like that baby poo color. You know?
Baby poo?
Yeah,
Which
baby poo color.
Which one? See, I'm having a hard time figuring it out. Who votes that that's baby poo? Well, if you don't like it, we'll just go like this.
She would slap that hand that came in.
Oh.
That might not be the baby poo color.
Then we got a problem.
Okay.
We'll just blot it out.
Okay, now it's not just me kibitzing, but you guys are changing the painting as well.
I love it. Keep giving suggestions. Let's move to another one. Let's just see what's under here. Let's see.
Oh my God.
Oh, I know.
That looks like a record album.
Oh, funny. Oh, then I'm going to keep it. No, I'm kidding. Wait a minute. There was one on here I worked on before. This one. Ooh, this is kind of challenging because, this was the one that was very dark values when I started. So maybe, like you said, bringing the white in. Oh, this is a little, not exactly all white, but why don't we just push this around a little bit? You know, we all have different ways of holding our brushes and all kinds of different ways to paint. So like I can just like kind of continue that line through there and then it goes out. And maybe this thing goes out so that you continue. So I'm just thinking, how do I lead my eye through this painting? Wow, this one's kind of challenging.
And right now, you guys, we're really going here. Do you see how kind of, it's a little imbalanced? I mean, it's because she's working on it, but this is where we're going now. So we need to do something in another place, that activates it with contrast.
Yeah, that's,
Not
this
that she's
is not
going to
it,
follow that.
but yeah.
Follow that.
I'm not listening. No, I'm kidding.
What we need to do, I will repeat it, add value contrast. What we need to do is.
Okay, all right. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm gonna put some gooey white over here.
Dawn's asking for that lime green, just saying.
Oh, you want, okay, all right, let's do some lime green. I need a fresh brush.
But it's gonna be, now this is gonna be really kind of intense
this
because.
is gonna be crazy.
Because you're gonna have, the red is highly saturated and the green is highly saturated. So it's gonna kind of, it sort of takes the picture in a different place,
Okay, we need some straight edges. I just realized I'm just painting and I'm not thinking about edges. So
I think,
let's put this next to here.
I think what Jane's saying here, she goes, this demo is really giving me permission to just let it go.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Terry. Yeah, and it really, that's what we're talking about here. You can loosely hold these principles, but you want to play and experiment,
Yeah, and you just,
But we have to have it turn out good for the audience,
oh gosh,
Terry. So
pressure.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that part when you woke me into this. You just said, come and
they
just
get
do
to
your
play,
thing.
but you've got to play with a really good outcome because
No.
they need to believe that this is going to be amazing. So
Yeah.
no pressure.
No pressure. Well, I do like this green. I've been using this kind of minty green in my work, and I've just found it to be so really delicious. This isn't quite it, but like it's just this really cool color. I don't want to cover up too much of that dark stuff. In fact, I think we need to bring some gray.
Notice how she uses the paint guide a lot, you guys. It gives her like perfectly straight edges when she needs them, and then she doesn't use it. So she's playing a contrast all the time in her work. It's this soft edge with this sharp edge. Yeah, Shirley likes the green. These are crayons, Shirley. These what we got here. These are just crayons. And we've been giving some of these away as giveaways. We'll probably do that today.
And what's interesting is like this value looked dark here. Oh, there's the crayons.
Oh, thanks, AJ.
This value looked dark here in the center until you put actually a dark value in there. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, I thought that was dark, but it wasn't. It's very light. I mean, it's not very light. Sorry. It's probably like a value of, probably 8 or so. But this is the darkest value that we get right here. So let's just put a little dark spot up there. And, sometimes I like to even work with a wet brush and just kind of mush this around. Like, I don't care. Like, let's just get this all blended. Oh, here goes my third hand now.
Just can't resist. I can't stand it.
And I actually covered up a spot I really liked. So I'll have to go back in there and add that back in. There was some crayon under here that was really cool. And sometimes, you know what you can do? Sometimes you can just scratch back to it. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. We'll just kind of put that here.
You guys can always have me come in and do this on your work. I'm for hire.
He loves it. Yeah, he loves to just come in.
I'm just the crayon guy.
So, well, this one I would probably put aside. You know what? There needs to be green somewhere else. And we're not going to do a full green.
Here's what I'm having trouble with this picture. The green and the red are so saturated.
Okay.
Can we try doing something to just because it's kind of cool, but also I feel like that's clashing or competing. Can you make the green just so we can see like a little more orangey so it relates to the red or something? Like how would you fix that? Or does that bug you at all?
You know what? I would probably let that dry. Well, here, we'll do this. I'd probably let this dry. So we're going to pretend that it's still kind of green. And then what I'd probably do, see, that actually is a really cool,
see, I like
what
that
happened
better
right there.
because now it's got red and the green. Do you guys see how that settles in? Yeah. And this becomes like the main star, those saturated reds.
See, and now I'm going to just push this paint around a little bit, but I'm going to leave a little bit of the green. So now you have these like really cool areas that the green, when the paper towel like wiped it off. And then we can take that, it's kind of like a burnt orangey color, which I'm kind of loving right now in my work, this burnt color. So I'm just going to kind of push that around and maybe it'll line up with that one. And we'll get rid of this green a little bit and pull it off the edge because there's so much there. And some of these paints are like, you got to really know your paints as well, because some of these, like the green is very thin for me. And one of the other ones too, maybe the orange is kind of thin. So, okay, intellect on my shoulder.
Okay.
What else would you change in this one? Here's my intellect coming in. Wait, where's your dial meter?
I feel, here's, if I was looking at this, and now this is what's so subjective, kind of, you know. Oh, that was better.
Yeah.
Do you see this unit here? That size, and then we've got this size. I think if this thing grows up into here, it'll become more exciting. That's just my theory.
You mean the dark?
Yeah, that dark gray, like it comes up, make it so it's more of a statement. So it's less like this little thing.
Okay.
So we can just see. I mean, you know. Yeah,
you like that better?
Yeah. And then a little dark up here. We could try that up there.
Okay.
Just for
got
fun.
rid of that, the dark. Let's put that back in so you can kind of see like the changes right there.
Okay.
And now those are, here we're gonna make a little shape here. I just feel like making a shape.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and then.
Yeah, that's nice, that bigger thing, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna move the white back through there, and I'm gonna maybe take the white out of the page. And maybe I didn't, I'll blend it in right here. Let's see. I like looking at it up on the camera.
Yeah, I know.
I'm on a high chair,
maybe
so it's
bring
like
a little bit of this green down in here. That's a good
oh
idea, you guys.
Yeah, great idea. I love that. Maybe I need another paintbrush.
A little green in the lower right, Peggy says.
Okay, the lower right. So I think we'll just make I'm kind of looking right now, before I make my shape, I'm like, okay, these greens are not off, because if I put this off and everything's going off, all these greens were going off, it would look the same. Oh, thank you, AJ. I got 4 hands now. So I just want to make this shape a little bit different than the other greens. So, and probably we need to get a little bit, like just a touch of like saturated green here.
Yeah.
So, maybe it even crosses over that white line and it's a longer line. Yeah, like that.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, good. Yeah, I am gonna be doing some critique things in a minute. I wanted to sort of use this as a warm up and show you how these ideas can be kind of incorporated into it. Like she's just playing, but then also all of a sudden there's some things you can start doing. And you guys are suggesting great ideas, by the way. Mm-hmm. So this is sort of the principles and these ideas in actual action.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if I was working in my studio, like this, where is it? This red got a little bit kind of muted. So I might just even take and just put a pop of red back in there.
Yeah. And
so now it's matching this one up here, or not matching, but it's drawing your eye there. And then maybe I just need a little red there. Yeah. It's hard to see.
Also, sometimes I'll do this. I'll just put the smallest thing in. Just as a thing, just like to have, like in a big open space, just like little, just maybe I might not even keep it, but it just helps me see, you gotta adjust that. But
I also just think that this could be knocked back a little bit, but I'm just gonna kind of.
No, that's better.
Yeah. Like just have a little tiny fleck of that color coming through.
What happens is you see where you start and it's like these big changes and everything, but as you continue, right, we've had a lot of questions about how to finish something. As you continue, your adjustments, right, become smaller and she's being more delicate. That's sort of because you're becoming more sensitive. And you can get so sensitive with this to where you're just adding little small things that make a difference. That's a sort of sign that you're getting this thing much more refined. And when it's refined, that's kind of like finished, So you can notice that. Now, sometimes what happens is you're working on something and you think you're getting, and all of a sudden you realize, I don't like this at all. And then you're back to square one and you're changing things, right? So there's, right. So that's kind of that's an approach, using these principles, playing as well as mixing it up and changing it, What I do is I look right now, like if I'm looking at this, my eyes going here, my eyes going here, so my eyes kind of moving around the picture, I have a little trouble with this big thing, you know, right down the middle.
Well, you told me to do that one.
Did I? Oh, really? I don't think, let 400 people be my witness. I had nothing to do with this painting. Oh my God. Did I tell you to do that?
You said make that shape
never
bigger.
listen. Do never listen to anybody when you're
Here,
making
we're going to
your
break it
art.
up. I'm going to make you feel better
please
now.
Fix that. That was a terrible call.
Here, we're going to fix it. There.
I was
Now it's
testing
not.
you. I didn't think you would do it.
Oh, okay. You thought I was going to say, no way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no way.
Right.
I'm not doing that. There we go.
Okay,
We
that's
broke
better.
it up a little bit better. Yeah, there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we can smear it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, you know, this is nowhere near finished. I mean, I'm going to come in after this dries. It kind of gets to a point where this is why I have a lot hanging around, because then you've got one that's dry that you're going to bounce over to, and you have all this color out and what we talked about yesterday. But, you know, you have this color out. So now you just take this orange and you're like, oh, let me add some orange here. And I like it over here as well. And you just kind of like have all these paintings that are dry so that when you have a wet one, you can just pick it up and put it to the side
Yeah.
and start another one. Oh, thanks, AJ.
Okay.
So that's,
All right. Well, you want to turn your camera back on?
that's you.
flip that?
Oh,
Yeah.
do what? What am I
Make
doing?
it so you're going to go and you're going to turn your camera so
Yeah.
I can see you.
And you're gonna switch
I've never
back
done
your
this
camera,
before.
Nick.
And you go to Logitech here.
There you go.
You're just gonna skip exactly, Nick. You got it.
Okay.
Bro, there
There
you
we
go.
are.
So pretty cool, right? That's just, and all these pictures have different kinds of possibilities, right? You know, we're starting at something,
There you go.
you know, so, all right. Well, thanks for that, Terry. That was really cool.
Well, thank you. And thanks
Yeah.
for being my intellect.
Yeah. Of course, I was wrong. You should have listened to your intuition. That's the lesson here. Never give up control, especially to a mansplaining teacher. Okay.
I'm just teasing. That was fun.
All
That
right.
was cool.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to clean off. I need to come back over there and clean up so
Okay.
that you can have your spot back.
Can you hand me that pad of white paper? I just want to go over this bullseye thing before we dive into those image adjustments. I want to show you guys kind of the greatest hits of things that we're going to be correcting that I found that I was like, oh my God, just do this one thing and it improved it, you know? So in a lot of your work, I wasn't, you know, changing the color and doing all kinds of things. It was just I did a couple things so you could see like, oh, that made a big difference. So I thought I would just spend a minute or two going over in a simple way some of the things I was doing. Okay. Oh, good. Betty's saying that demo showed how this kind of painting can be fun and exciting. Yes, good. You know, this is a lot like, you know, when you can get rid of the seriousness, you know, it's like, it's just much more fun and you end up making some pretty great stuff. And I just think having a more playful approach, learning how to do that, really helps everybody. So I'm glad you guys see that. It's crazy, you know, the things we make. And I mean, you don't get to, you get to make mistakes all the time. You're just failing forward is a beautiful way to put it. You're just making mistakes and then you make more and then you correct it and then you make some more and you make some more. And once you get used to that, it's like, oh, that's what art making is? Well, God, I can do that. Who can't fail forward? Okay. All right. Okay. So let me share my screen and I'm just going to hit a couple of these things before we dive in. And while I'm doing this, Terry, if you want to, well, let me just do this, and that way they can focus on it. Okay, here's some things that we have that are challenges that I see happening a lot. When you guys, and I forget who said it on this call, is something that we talk a lot about is this bullseye thing. When you have something in the center of your picture, this spot is it's like 5 times more visually noticeable than this one, believe it or not. You will look at this, if it has contrast, this is so visually powerful. Okay, so look at, if I have all these dots here, right, you still will notice this one. And it almost looks like, you know, what you have to be able to do is adjust the size of this thing and just be aware of it. Because if you're not aware of it, you just end up with your picture being kind of mesmerizing, and the person who looks at it can't look any other place. So if I was going to adjust this picture, I would make this a lot smaller, because even that is, now we can, do you notice see how it releases our eyes to look out here? We go further out, right? And that's so much small. But if I make it this big, oh, game's over. We are just going to stare at that. Do you see what happens? Sometimes we do this, right? And this is what our art's like. And you guys, there's no way, no how that our eyes are not going to stare at this thing. We're not going to go here. We're not going to go here. We're not going to go here. We're not going anywhere. We are going to stay right there. I don't know. Do you guys remember the jungle story with Mowgli? Remember when he's in the forest and the snake comes out of the tree, and the snake's looking at the little boy's eyes, and he gets transfixed, and he's just staring at those. And that's what this does. It just immobilizes you, and you just stare at your work, and you're just like, what is wrong with this? It's so unsatisfying. It has to do with putting a big dark thing in the middle. Okay. So that's something that I was correcting a lot. As soon as you move this thing over, it frees you up. And then another thing that is very common, is you have your work, and you have, let's say it's a landscape, and you have trees and, whatever, and things in it. And, maybe there's, a distant lake or whatever here. That people leave off giant sections of their work with no contrast. And I know you think it's like, well, that's sky, there is no contrast there, but even just like slightly darkening it up there a little bit, maybe there's a bird up there. This will help. Do you see? Because we want your eye to move around. We want to go here. 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 We want to go up here too. So that's a lot of what I'm doing in your work to fix it and correct it. So I'm either moving things out of the middle, or proportions is another giant one. We have a lot of people, you come along and you've got the ocean, right? And then you've got this beautiful tropical island and, maybe a palm tree or something. But this is and maybe some clouds up here. But what we see when we look at it is we see this. We see these two parts. This is dark, this part, and this is light. But this is half. It's 50-50. And it's these proportions, right? The same proportion over and over and over again is just like going to a 9-to-5 job forevermore. It's the same experience, a little bit. So, and it also, we don't know when we look at this, which part of the picture you're most excited about, because you're playing it safe. It's like, I like the sky a lot, but I also like the water a lot. I like the sky 50% of the time, and I like the water 50% of the time. So the viewer doesn't get to know you. We want to know you. We want to know your preferences. So taking this, for example, if I have this water, if the sky is what we're into, here's my palm tree, and my island, like do that kind of a painting. Here's the sky. Look at the proportions of sky. It's like 90%, 10%. That's exciting. The sky is so big. The land is so small. Here, the sea is, it's pretty big, and the sky is, it's pretty big. Anytime we have the same thing, there's a missed opportunity. Now, if you want the viewer, and here's the caveat, if you want the viewer to feel sameness, right? Because that's valid. Maybe that's what you want. And so maybe you do that because you want to create something that's common. It's not that this is wrong, right? It's not that. It's not that this is wrong. It just if you aren't aware of the feeling it creates, and it doesn't line up to what you want to create, then it's wrong. Do you get it? These are just principles. There's nothing wrong with doing a picture that's 50-50, but it will make us feel kind of, it's sort of sedate. And maybe you do something that's different in these two panels that is exciting. So Okay, so those are just really some of the main things that that I'm working on. I'll have also, this is very common. We'll have this, we'll have this, and we'll have this, and I'll just take this and I'll make it much bigger, and maybe add a little one, and that's also what I'm doing. So those are the basic things that come up, the easy low hanging fruit. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? Okay. Yes, right. Buffalo. Yeah. Mansplaining. Yeah. It's the worst. Totally. Okay. So let me share my screen here, and we'll dive into some of these great images. Okay. All right.
And if you could also change your camera, Nick, so we can see your face.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right, trying to get to that. Control that.
Let me stop sharing. I'm gonna stop your sharing, and then it's a little bit easier to find your camera that way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
change it, and then share again.
Okay, yeah. All right.
There we go. Perfect.
All right. Okay, that's
Awesome.
weird. It's at a funny angle. What happened here?
Not-
Oh boy. This is not going to work. This angle, there's a command. Oh, I don't remember the command to get rid of this angle. Oh boy, this isn't going to work. Let's see. Ah boy. Okay, let me grab my computer here. This was affected. Was this downloaded to my camera? Hang on one second, you guys. Let me just get rid of this. Don't save. Let me just open this up again. File open. There's a weird thing that happens in Photoshop sometimes when
Maybe don't share. Maybe unshare for a second. And
nope, there it's fixed. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Yeah, it's like you hit Y, T, Z, and you can angle that desktop, and it happens by accident sometimes, and it drives me crazy because of course you can't look at it. Okay, so let's
the same
start
thing happened to your background too. So can you pull your camera a little bit?
What? What's wrong?
Everything is
Come
falling
on,
apart.
you guys are so sensitive. God can't have everything perfectly lined up.
It's crooked.
All right. Okay, it's just that day. Yeah, let me get rid of this. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. So let's close this up. Close it up. All right. So Willa. So right, here's that example. And sorry about this little thing. That's not in her painting, by the way. But like, this is so beautiful, right? Look at the water, you guys, and look at the sky, and then that dark. But do you see the 50-50? Do you guys get that? So what I want to know, and the reason what I'm curious about is, Willa, if you're here, let us know in the comments, what is the thing about this scene that interests you? Is it the sky or is it the water? And so, because we want to know what you prefer, and this 50-50 thing, so here's an adjustment. It doesn't mean this is what you would do, but let me show you. Oh boy, how'd that get reversed? Right? So do you see how it's like, here's like, oh my God, the mystery of the water, right? So it's just a simple thing, and that's something to like consider, because what's happening is our eye is going to go to this very where the greatest contrast is here, and so we're just going to stay in the middle. Okay. All right, so this was Judy's, and I thought this was really good, right? This is pretty good, and she's like, I'm not sure what, she loved this, and it's really good. I think she did this during the design, when we were doing design maybe, or value, but like there's some beautiful things about it. And so what I do is I always ask myself, well, where does my eye go? And I know that if I get my eye to move around and experience different things using contrast, it will improve. So where aren't there darks? Where isn't there contrast, right? Okay, so check it out. So I just made some stuff up here and I added some contrast. Do you see the difference? It's still the same painting, but suddenly, oh, and notice this little magenta up in the corner. This is about using color to move your eye around too. It's like, hey, there's magenta up here also. So we go up there. If we go around your picture more, people will have a bigger experience, right? If you get a half-day pass to Disneyland, you can only have time to do a third of Disneyland. It won't be the same as getting the 2-day pass and you get to go to all the places, right? This is like, you get to go to Disneyland for 2 hours and here you get to go for 4 hours and you get to go explore all these places. We have to think of the viewer's eyes, and they're really our eyes, Isn't that crazy, Stacy? I know. And it was so simple. It's just such a simple principle. This is why when you start getting this, and I understand, I know it takes some time, but that's why the Creative Visionary Program is long. But this is what you can get. And imagine the amount of time you can save. Like, this is pretty good. Like, this is great. But now you're ready for the show. This is at a much higher, it's exciting. Your eye goes everywhere. This is what I want for each of you, to be able to see this and do this really quickly. Okay, so this was June's. I thought this was really kind of interesting. This is what, she posted, and it's got some really great differences, right? But do you see also here that 50-50 thing happening? And I don't know, is it like, what is the part that she got so excited about? Is it the pastel marks? Is it everything's about the same intensity. Isn't it interesting how we can kind of feel that, But so all I did is I chose the part that I loved and I made more of a big deal and I changed the proportions of what we can see. Do you get it? Our eye moves around and it's like, well, if you're going to show me exciting pastel and we're going to cut loose with that crayon, really, let's see you do it. So this is, again, stepping as you go. You're going to step more and more into what it is that lights you up. Okay? Oh, good. I'm glad you guys are seeing this. I just think it's such an interesting thing. And notice this little tiny dark. I just threw this little dark in there because it just is crying out for that. That's a little place we can look. We're looking at the bottom. We're looking at the top. Okay. All right. And I thought, so this one is one that I'm going to fix or enhance right here, right now. So this is her work. This is what she posted. And it's got a lot of really great things going, but I want to ask you guys, now you're sort of starting to get some understanding here. Tell me where our eye is not going in this picture. Where is our eye not going? Okay, let me know. I'm going to wait for you guys to give me some feedback here. That's right, Roxy. There's small but powerful changes. That's what I'm trying to do, just a couple little things. I could do a ton more, but just to get this thing better. Okay, so Dorothy's saying upper left, Catherine's saying upper left, Joanna top left. You guys, I love it. This is called learning. and Robin, this is not so subjective all of a sudden. It's like if everyone on the call is like saying, it's up on the left, this might be worth trying something. So let's just do this. Let's just take something that has contrast. I'll just grab this part, right? Because we definitely looking there, and I'll drag it over and watch as I do it. Watch what happens. And I'll make it, look at this. It's so much better. And I'll make it a little different size than what we have. Okay. Now, isn't that something? And I know, Robin, you could do a much better solution there, but look at the difference. Isn't that something? So you guys got it, right? And there's there's some stuff on the lower left, maybe a little bit more. But what I also like about this is now we've got some of that yellow color up here, which it's not just in this part down there. Okay. So that's kind of really, really great. Yeah, it's also a resting place. Yes. Okay. So if I can just take just a ordinary shape and just make it dark and just stick it there, and I'm not even trying, you guys, and it improves it. Imagine what you could do if you really thought about it, I love some of these, by the way, I love these little leaf shapes here. And another idea is I would sort of make these, I would pull some of these out. So let's say we have this little leaf shape here. I'm going to make that more noticeable. I'm going to lighten it. You watch how I'll bring some attention there as that leaf emerges. You watch. Do you get it? So a few more leaves like that we can really see would be nice in this because you've drawn them and they've been covered up. Yes. Okay. Good. I'm doing this in Photoshop. We do a lot of coaching, image adjustments. We have hours of image adjustment videos based on certain challenges and problems in the Creative Visionary program. Because so you can see a before and you can see an after, but we'll have dozens based on one challenge, but it's really powerful when you can see what is going on with your work or other people's work who have similar problems. Like we all know it got better, right? It's indisputable. It's not like amazing yet, but it's going in the right direction. Okay. Awesome. All right, let's look at Jana's. Okay, so good, Chantel, love it. Perfect. Hey, Anne from the on the team is here. I super appreciate that. And all of us have these conversations when we do team masterminds where we're looking at our work. We're all using these principles and this approach as a way to kind of grab hold of our art. Okay, so where is our eye not going, you guys? Again, another simple thing. We're definitely looking, we feel very satisfied. We're in love with this. This is so beautiful, Jana, right? But where aren't we going? Where aren't we going? Because that's where the low-hanging fruit is. If something's missing, I'm going to do that first because I don't need to go into this part and really spend a lot of time making that better because it's like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. The thing is sinking. We got to do something over here. And that's where I'll go, right? And it just changes it, And notice I've kind of darkened the darks a little bit. You see that? And I've brought in some lights, a little white, some whites. Just when you have a painting that has a lot of pastels and almost whites, it's kind of beautiful to bring some whites in. Okay. Do you see how we're missing some whites? When you do, it makes all the other colors look a little richer. Do you see that? How the colors get richer? Because there's something to compare them to. If our lightest light is kind of beigey or pinky, it's not really white. So sometimes going closer to white can make the colors look more colorful. There's something to compare them to. Okay. Terry, I'm thinking we should just take a quick little break and give one of our prizes away. I'll do one more and then we'll, because I don't want the giveaway stuff to pile up because we have those crayons, right?
Yes, let's do the crayons because we just talked about those and we used them in the demonstration.
Yes, okay.
By the way, your crayons are so mucked up, I couldn't even see the colors.
I know, they're really a problem. I know.
So these are the beeswax crayons. We have a really great, funny comment. You ready for this?
Okay.
Okay.
I have a feeling this is going to be embarrassing to me. I don't know. I don't know
I
why. I just
wonder
get
why
that feeling. Yeah, that's just why
I
you
just
seem
wonder.
extra delighted by it. So I think I'm preparing myself. Okay, say
Yep.
it quickly and just get it over with,
Okay,
and
I'm
we
going
can
to
move
say it
on.
quickly. Anna Fernandez Gavert, sorry. If you hear your name, email us at cbp@art2life.com. And she said, Nick was like a toddler who can't sit still during the demo, but his suggestions were really good.
There you go. I knew it. Okay. Yes.
But you
Well,
know, I have to say, like when you're looking over somebody painting, it's just like my brother. My brother, if I'm doing something, or even in the kitchen, he's standing there like, I mean, he just wants to jump in so badly and take over for you and do it. You know, like if you're kind of
yeah.
struggling or you're not sure what you're doing. And so I like laughed when I saw that comment because it reminds me of my brother. You know, just like
Yeah.
wanting to get in there, and you were just like, oh, I just want to make a little crayon
Yeah.
mark.
No, I can't stand it. Yeah. I like, just give me,
You can't stop
I just
yourself.
got to drive the bus. You know, it's crazy.
I love it. It's so cute. So.
Yeah, but no, and seriously, it's so cool to watch, and I think you guys are seeing this, watching other people's processes, and I'm what we're trying to demonstrate is the thinking. And this is what we've been doing for the last week, that this is an approach. It's not like, look at all this cool work. This is so different than what we just looked at in this painting and this painting and this painting, but using an approach with all the nuances of it to learn it allows you to be able to see something and improve it and get unstuck and get it more and more personal, right? And that's what we want. That's how you develop your work, right? Okay, so this one's pretty cool. This one is Leah's, and got some really great stuff, right? And you know, and sometimes you guys, I'm really like hard pressed, like, well, what? I don't know. I'll try to do something. So I looked at the shapes here, and I thought, well, maybe if we brought in a little different scale of like that white shape seems pretty big, but maybe if that got even bigger, that would be a little more exciting because it's big, but it's not really big. And so that's kind of an idea I had, and I tried it and I thought, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, you know, and it became kind of a bigger part of the picture. And then I added this little accent here because it just felt like all the whites were around the edges. I love being able to do this, you know. This is how you learn. And again, in the Creative Visionary program, I'll be grabbing a lot of people's work, and it doesn't, you know, if we're talking about moving your eye around the picture or talking about scale, you guys can understand what's happening with this picture. It doesn't have to be your art, okay? So this is why the learning is so quick in the Creative Visionary program, because normal old style learning is you sit there in front of your picture and then you wait for the teacher to come and they paint on your painting, and that's irritating. And then you end up with something like this, but you can't go back and look at it. And you get that one chance to try to figure out this challenge. And guess what? The next day, the same thing happens slightly differently, and you can't see the principle at play because you've only seen it maybe once. But in the Creative Visionary program, you will see this dozens and dozens and dozens of times, all the challenges. So you get this incredible wealth of, you know, breadth of problem solving because you've been there. You've seen realistic painting changed. You've seen all kinds of work being changed. And then the principle starts to make sense. And I can't tell you how much time the Creative Visionary program saves you because of this repetition in seeing all kinds of changes in all kinds of ways, you know. That's why the learning is so fast, and that's why people are making the progress they do. Okay.
Nick, I was going to ask you to zoom in on the image, but now this one came up as a long.
Oh, we can do
might
that.
not be as easy to zoom in.
Oh, yeah. I can.
Because they're very small.
Yeah. Oops. Cancel. Let's see. Okay.
Cater
Yeah,
commit.
they are a little small. Yeah. Hold on a second. Zoom in. Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. Is that better?
Nice.
I think this is a little big, but okay. That's a little better. All right. So let's have a look at Chantal, who is on the call. And So here's, yeah, I can just squeeze this in. Maybe I'll make it a little smaller. All right. So beautiful, right? So great. And, it's realistic and it's beautifully painted and everything, but where is the river? Where is the biggest contrast, you guys? In what part of the painting is the contrast? This is such a good one. I think it's pretty subtle, but what part of the picture has the greatest contrast? Where is your eye going, you guys? Let me know in the comments. Thanks, Uda. Yeah, I know. Control 0. I always forget that. Thanks. Okay. Bullseye, bullseye, bullseye. Okay. Right? Isn't it crazy, Chantal? Like, once you see it, you can't, this is the challenge. This is that center part. This has got a lot of potent. And so we're staying here, you guys. We aren't going to go over here into the forest as easily as we could. Notice how this is like the dead zone here. We're not going here. We are going right there. So how do we fix this? Well, all we got to do is move the center, that bullseye, off to the side. Check it out. Look, do you see? And look, and I brought a little bit of contrast over here. So now we're going here and we're going here, right? It's subtle because it's a great painting, but this is the kind of thing where once you see it, and I think I probably could even move this over a little bit more, or maybe even lessen the contrast, which probably would, if I lessen this contrast in here, watch, I'll show you. It'll probably help. Let me just show you right here. Let me get this. Okay. Watch how as this contrast gets a little less, your eye is going to be freed up. Here is the opposite. Now we got a real problem, right? You're going down there. But the opposite is, let's just go a little lighter. There we go. There we go. Now we're going everywhere. We're going there, we're moving around. Do you guys see that? Isn't that something? And right, Kathy's nailing it. A beautiful painting made more beautiful. This is gorgeous. Beautiful work, Chantal. Just really exquisite. We need you to be in the top 10%. I mean, and I hate to say it that way, but this is amazing. This is so strong. What you're doing is so beautiful. The way you're handling the paint, your colors are incredible. Armed with this next level of information, you can just take it that little bit further. And this is why you can sell your work. This is why people choose your work. This is why you get in galleries. This is why you can charge more. It's this awareness. Okay, really, really cool. And I'm so appreciative you posted that. Obviously, you've been painting a long time. I believe this is Suki's first piece of art, or one of them, and I just thought, man, that's so courageous. She just did this, listening to the call, one of the calls, and I was just like, oh my God, that's so great. And I thought it was really pretty damn interesting. So what could we change that, so she's got all these little tiny scratchy marks, which is cool. And then she's got these solid marks, and that's the contrast here. But I thought that maybe one thing we could do, and there's many things we could do, if I just took this one, which is kind of bigger, and I made it bigger, made it even bigger. Let me just select this. Let's see here. Well, I think I'll just select it like this. And made this a little bigger, it'll be kind of a little bit more interesting. Let's see. And again, you never know, but this gives me like the hunch, like is this getting more interesting, right? And maybe we change this, we take this thing that's here and make it a little lighter so it's not so noticeable. And I want to get our eye up here, right? So how can I do that? I'm going to bring a little bit of contrast up there. Just watch how this just like now get us up there. Okay. Now let's have a look and see where we were before. You get it? Anyway, I just thought this was so good, Suki, really, for your first thing. Fantastic. Okay. This is somebody who's armed with information. Look at how sophisticated the work is. Like, this is really cool. This is what information, having the right information, having an approach, having these principles can do. Suki has not done a lot of art, it sounds like, this is her first thing, but this is really interesting. If you saw this in a museum, you wouldn't walk up and tear it off the wall. You just go, wow, that's pretty amazing. Okay.
Hey, Nick, can you zoom in again to the work to make it a little bit bigger?
Yep. Okay. There you go.
Thank you.
Now, let me show you something else here. In general, something you can kind of do is adjusting the lightness and darkness of things. So this is, if I come in and lighten up the lights a little bit, and I darken the darks a little bit, that also will make things kind of powerful. Do you get it? Do you see how it's just kind of like a little more intense? It's just like you've got, and so that's because value contrast brings us alive. So it's just something to be aware of. Value contrast is the most powerful contrast we have, pretty much. So playing around with it, just even a little bit, can really change the picture. So here's Jill's, and I thought this was really, God, it got some great stuff going here. Remember in those drawings, I talked about how the weight was on the bottom. We have everything on the bottom, and that's happening here a little bit. We've got I like to talk about these darks like almost visual weight. So if this had a weight to it, like pounds, I would say this is about 150-pound black shape sitting down here, and this is about a 90-pound black shape, and this is probably a 5-pound black shape, and this is about a 6-pound. So you see, we're really weighted on the bottom. We have lots of dark, heavy things sitting on the ground. And why is that a challenge? Well, we want to lift off, and we want to go look at things. I'm so glad that Jill has some of these darks up here, but in relationship, relative to the heaviness down here, they're not so much. So bringing something dark up there will change the picture. And you can see what happens when you do that. Now, I've changed some of the values in the painting, right? We had a lot of mid-value grays. I went a little lighter, and that made the color look richer. And I also moved a few of the shapes on top of the dark. And what this does is it takes some of the weight away from that dark. This is 100 pounds, but now some of the dark is covered up, so it's less heavy. And I'm bringing those circle motifs in. Right, Debbie's saying in decorating a room, you hear that black anchors the room. It's value contrast because it's so powerful. And by the way, don't you think Jill's colors are so beautiful here? That's because having things that are having black in the work that isn't any color, it will make colors look even richer. I especially love this little pattern. We haven't talked a lot about pattern, and we do a lot in the Creative Visionary program. This is gorgeous, this little detail up here. And it's just nice. It's just a nice addition, right? So there's different ways she's making marks here, numbers, and all kinds of things. Okay. All right. Yeah. Chantal, awesome. Okay. I'm so glad you've seen that. Okay. Francesca, I grabbed this because it's like, okay, we don't usually, we don't get as many photographers. We have more art painters, and stuff. But so this is pretty amazing, right? And so where does our eye go? So the same principles apply, right? We're looking, we're looking definitely along here because there's contrast, and we're going over here some and definitely down here. But you can see how there's kind of a bit of a tangle right in the middle of the picture where this face there's contrast here. And because it's in the middle, we really are staying here. So what I did is I just lightened some things up, right? So this is more quiet, and we can really see this blue and red more. And I brought in a little bit more blue and red, brought in a little bit more, started getting some of this rendering in other places, and put this in here to get our eye up there. Now, there's a million things you could do here, but you can just see how we can kind of start balancing things a little bit. I'm not sure, Cynthia, if this is a photograph that's been painted on or what. Maybe if Francesca's here, she could pop in the chat. Okay, Karina. All right, so here's where we started. And God, there's some beautiful things in here. Lots of colors, lots of scratches. I mean, just a whirlwind of all kinds of stuff, which I just love. Now, so what do we have a lot of? This is another way to sort of come to a conclusion. When I have a picture like this, I'm like, well, what do we have plenty of? Because if we have so much of something, offering something that's different than what we have will make everything else look more exciting. So I know we have a lot of green. I know we have a lot of these dark they're kind of like bowling ball sized darks, right? You see that? They're like, we got this shape here, right? And we got this one and 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 this one. They're all kind of, I don't know, they're all kind of the same size. This is the biggest one. No, it's a little refreshing, but that's where I was looking, and I was like, well, value contrast is the most noticeable. So maybe, and there's so much color. So maybe if I increased some of the darks and made them bigger, it would make the color look better, but we would have a little bit more variety. And so I just added some darks. Do you see that? I made the darks a little bigger just to have one biggish area. It's so nice to have that. Now, I also did a little bit of a color adjustment here. And I want to explain this because color is not one that gives a big bang for your buck in general. But nonetheless, you got to know how to do this. I mean, we're not, I don't have time in the limited time we have together to teach all the things, but color, in this case, there's this really saturated green, right? And then we have this really red, saturated red that's kind of running through it. And there's a bit of a competition here. So I thought if I want to make this picture about these incredible greens and yellows, that if I downplayed the red, I would get more cohesion and I would really feel the greeny yellow. So that's what I did. I grayed out, I brought some grayed out, and now, we don't know if Karina really loves green or not, but pretending she does, this painting shows those greens and that golden yellows really well, because that red it's been taken away. Having one thing more saturated is more exciting to look at than having two or three things all barking at the same degree. It's always about competition. It's always about juxtaposition. Good. Okay.
Hey, Nick, can I interrupt you for a second?
Absolutely.
I just I saw like this really cool thing that Sherry asked. She said, do you teach us basic things in CVP, like organizing your workspace, keeping your water clean, etc.? I get so frustrated with my colored water and brushes tumbling all over the place. And then what was really great was Gail, who is one of our alumni, said, you get the whole enchilada. There's a wealth of info that you'll learn. Yeah. And so just like talking about, these image adjustments are in CVP, and there's just so much knowledge from these. But this is, a course. If you're just beginning, if you're more advanced, you saw somebody who just had maybe her first painting, and you can just see how all these principles apply to everybody at so many different levels that you're at. And CVP covers all of those. So I just want to chime in there and just mention that.
And and that's the thing, like the way we set up the palette, a lot of people don't know what we do, where we do it so the paint stays wet. It's a game changer, man. It's like, it turns acrylic paint into oil paint because you can keep it wet. That is such a valuable thing. And a guy showed that to me like 25 years ago, and I've been using it ever since. It's incredible.
Yeah. And some people have, if you have any questions, the team is in the Facebook chat and also on YouTube. So if you have questions about CVP, pop them in the chat, and we will I'll gather some of those and ask Nick, but my team can answer questions too while we're going through the image adjustments.
Yeah, and I just want to say, we always think it's like so out of reach and everything, but like this painting, Karina, right here, if this was 6 feet tall and you had 9 of them like this, it's incredibly powerful. This is really good. I'm not kidding. I'm telling you, this is really cool. And it's just got such an attitude, and it's pretty different looking. And, and I can say that for so much of the work here, you guys, just getting it, just taking it, from here to here, it's powerful. Notice how you notice that yellow. Look how gorgeous the yellow looks now. See how you kind of can't really tell, but then here, now we really can enjoy that yellow. Okay, let's have a look at Fiona's. Okay, so really interesting, right? All this collage stuff and textures and everything. But so what do we have a lot of here? We have a lot of texture. We have a lot of kind of scratchy surface, light value shapes. And those circles are kind of the same size. But I had a hard time when I was looking at this. It's like, I love all the texture she created. And so I thought, well, maybe if I keep all that texture and then I could overlay something on top of this. So I had to cover up, and I had to lighten some of these shapes so it was not so noticeable, and then add some clarity. So let me just show you where I ended up. So this is a slightly different image adjustment, but do you see how beautiful this is? That background is becoming the quiet conversation, and the dark shapes or the semi-dark shapes in the foreground are the loud conversation. So let me, I'm gonna take it even one step further here, and I'm gonna select these. Do you see how the background here, it's quiet? The images, it's very subtle. But I'm going to make it even more subtle. I want to just show you something, because this is definitely hard. This is one of the hardest things to get. Okay. So watch this. I'm going to lighten the background. I'm going to quiet it down, okay? Okay, here, I'm going to quiet down the background here. And it's going to get better. See how subtle that is? So the background has this subtlety and the foreground has this boldness. And because of that, it becomes interesting, right? So if we go further still, it still kind of works. But if we go so far, well, now we don't really even see it. It's too subtle. But what I want you to notice is, like, where do we love this picture? Like right here, we can kind of see it. We can see the background. We can still see her painting back there. But watch what happens as we keep going. At some point, the background starts competing with the foreground, right? Like right here. Do you see how, like, those dark shapes are like, please no, don't do this to us. No, please, no. right? Like this isn't happening. There's no subtlety. The bold people can't feel bold, and the semi-quiet people don't feel quiet anymore, and it's a garage sale. So this is really cool to understand. We get to tone it back. Isn't that something? This is one of the sophisticated ideas and principles in the Creative Visionary program. It takes time to see this and recognize this and do this, and it takes practice. And a lot of people won't understand this. You can see it. I know it seems simple, but to be able to do it in your work takes the work and it makes it next level. It really does. It takes the work and it makes it so sophisticated. And this is, one of the most important things I teach. And it's one of the most difficult things. And that's why the program's not 5 weeks, Okay. Did you guys get that? Did you see that a little bit? Right. It's a smorgasbord. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And Joe, I'm just those dark shapes I just threw on there. I mean, I just did that in 2 seconds. They're not fantastic, but they're different. They're different from each other. And it was more to show both sides of that conversation. Okay, Kathleen. So really great, really bold, eyes moving around. And I just created more variety here, changes the proportions of things, playing around, getting your eye to move in different places. There's a million ways to go. It's a really fun one to work on. So Sheila, this is where she started. A ton working well. Look at how the contrast is moving your eye around, right? Our eyes moving around. And we're seeing things, and there's some really good stuff here. So what I did is I just changed the proportions of some things because I felt like those little pink flowers were kind of the same, all the same size. And I brought a little dark over to this side, and I brought some light into some other areas, some light off white in there. Now, this area right here, this is the center, and having this contrast here really helps take our eye off of here. But this, just so you know, is really is in the middle. And I just want to show you, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna reduce the contrast on this one, just in this area, just so you can see how your eye will be freed up. So watch how this releases our eye from staring at this. I'm going to come in and I'm going to darken this down just a little bit. There we go. So do you see what happens? We get to look in other places. I'm taking you off the bullseye just a little bit. Yeah, Janet, some of these changes are subtle, I know. But that's what we got to get good at. I mean, we're trying to make the work really powerfully different. Anyway, this was, Patty painted this, and she did this in a workshop that Susan Melrath was teaching, I believe. And so where does our eye go, you guys? Our eye goes, where is the greatest contrast? Where is the greatest contrast? Let me know in the chat. Yeah, Cynthia. Oh, Patty, fabulous. Right, Melissa saying if the bones of the painting aren't strong, nothing else will matter. Not really. I mean, we can, what do they say? You're making making a silk purse out of a sow's ear. My dad used to always say that. You can't. You've got to get the structure. You've got to get these fundamental principles dialed, because they're more powerful than the color. They're more powerful than the details. Like, this is really great. Like, there's this beautiful blue color, but the value is stronger. And that's the problem here, because our eye is staying along this edge of the figure. We're just staying here. We're not going over here so much, and we're staying here, and we're just staying right here. But there's other cool things to see. So how do we get our eye off of this to look in other places. So we either reduce value contrast here or increase it someplace else. So that's what I did, is I increased value contrast someplace else. We still look here, but now we're looking around. And by the way, I changed the colors. Here's that saturated blue, and we've got this really rust saturation complexion. And I just toned that down just because it's all about the blue, you know, and I'm letting blue carry it. Okay. Yeah. And I lessened the contrast a little bit, you know. This is just to give you some ideas and to realize when you've got something that is just, we're staring at, we have to release our eyes to go other places so we could increase contrast someplace else and lessen contrast a little on the place we're stuck, and then we're free, and then we can start rolling around. Okay. Patricia. So this is a really good one, you guys, a good example, because this is just a dark painting, but notice that our eye is moving around. First of all, the color's great. Our eye goes here, our eye goes here, our eye goes here, our eye's moving around. It's working pretty well. Where might you put some more contrast? Where could be a spot that you could add some contrast that would bring us to another part of the painting? Let me know in the chat. You guys are doing great, by the way. It's amazing because this is fair for a lot of you. You've never even looked at art like this, so I understand that. Okay. Yeah, lower left, Darcy's saying lower left and right. Yeah, so I felt like I kind of agreed. I sort of was over here. I'll see what I did. Yeah. So I just, oh, that's right. So I brought in some light here, so we're looking here, but I kind of went and darkened some things, because here we think we have dark. I mean, we certainly have what looks like black or underneath the bridge, and this is pretty dark and this is pretty dark. But when you commit, it just makes the colors look so rich. So that's what I did there. I adjusted the value contrast some, and I brought some light over to this area, some of that yellowy color. The painting's pretty great as it is, but we're just trying to like make it stronger. Yeah. You guys are doing it. Yep. Okay, Mia, I was looking at this. Really fun, right? All kinds of great stuff on here. And so what could we change in terms of scale, right? We have you can see that the picture has, certainly this size, there's that same size, there's that same size here, and kind of here, and this for sure is the same size. So we have a lot of things that are, 18 inches wide or whatever, this and this, even this part, how these all line up. So all I did was change that. I just changed it and showed something in a different proportion. And it just, that was all I did. Yeah, and there's all kinds of things you could do, but that's pretty simple. Look at how it just like the painting becomes, it's almost like marching at you now, Really fun, Mia. Okay. Terry,
Hey,
yeah, what do you have? I know you have something going.
How'd you know that? No, I just was wondering if we could, there were some people asking about supplies required for CVP.
Yes,
and I was just
let's
wondering
go over
if
that.
we should probably go over that a little bit. But great image adjustments. I'm just sitting here also like mesmerized by all of that. Wow, incredible.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Oh no, it's just fun. It's fun to see. I mean, it's just fun to see everyone's work improve a little bit. Like that's at the end of the day, man. That's it. That's what we're doing. And it's really great. And there was so many cool submissions. But do you want to go over the materials? Because you have the materials list there probably.
Absolutely. I had it and then I just popped over to look for it again. Materials list. Okay. Yeah, we had somebody from Argentina asking about materials because, like our materials might be different. So we have created, like, when you come in, we have a very, very extensive list, but it doesn't mean you have to have everything. I don't want to scare you. It's an extensive list that kind of explains, like, what's the best thing to have for the program, and then some other suggestions of optional things. Many artists already have a lot of these supplies.
Yeah.
And I just X'd out of something I needed. Okay, so basically acrylic paint and mediums means like gel gloss or like soft, or not soft gloss, gel gloss, right? Gloss medium, sorry, gloss medium. You will need 18 12 by 12 panels, an assortment of round and flat brushes. And you can see when I was painting earlier, I was just grabbing a bunch of different brushes. And that's super important because, like, when you paint with the same brush all the time, if I go see a painting somewhere, I'm like, oh, wow, they didn't change brushes this whole time.
Yeah,
you can actually see that when you get your eye trained and you're sensitive to looking at that kind of thing. You'll need sandpaper and mark making tools, which again, a lot of people have. So another thing about materials, we won't need those until the second week of March. So we're starting CVP next Thursday. Don't freak out. That's the welcome call. We'll get you guys.
That's
all
this Thursday. This Thursday.
Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Where did the time go? This Thursday. Oh,
this Thursday.
Wow.
In like 3 days, you guys.
Busy. Oh my gosh. This
yeah.
Thursday. Oh my goodness. Yeah. In a couple of days, we're going to be starting CVP, and the deadline to sign up is this Wednesday, February 22nd, at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is California time. So that's why we close the open enrollment and then we begin CVP the next day. Again, it's a welcome call. If you can't make it on that day, it's recorded. You can see it again at a later time because we will have a portal all set up. And Nick, speaking of the portal is the CVP website. A lot of people have that question. When you're done with your image adjustments, I thought maybe I could just show inside the portal what the image adjustments look like in there.
Yeah.
I wanted to show like a demonstration that Susan Melrath did.
Yes, maybe we do that.
Realistic.
Yeah, a great idea. Maybe we do that now, and then we'll come back and finish up these image adjustments because I think it's nice to, have a break. But we've got Darcy coming up, Joanne, Timothy, Vinny. So we've got a few more, you guys. So I'll continue that. But I think this is cool, what you're about to show. I think it'll be really great for people to see. I'll stop sharing for the moment.
Yeah, you're going to have to. And just checking with the team that I have the ability to share.
You do indeed. You're a co-host.
I do. Okay. And don't judge me for my windows open.
It's funny because your background was green. That's a green background, and it looks so gray. Looks like we have the same color almost, but anyway.
Yours was orange. I don't know what happened. No, I'm kidding. Okay. This is actually CVP 2022, and the reason I'm opening this one is because people who are already in CVP 2023, we have kind of a system of when we unlock these things. You don't come in and get all this. You're already drinking from a fire hose. And if we had all this unlocked, it would be crazy. So we systematically take you. It's a timing method of when we release these modules. So you see intro, risk and soul, design and value, color, texture. Your series bonus is always open, and so is support and resources and art tab. So I just want to say that, like, if you're in CVP right now and you're in the portal and you're looking around, you're saying, I don't see all this and it's a different color. That's because this is CVP 2022. So as we go along and we get to week 4, we will open up the week 4 image adjustments. So you can see this says image adjustment videos here. And what's super cool is we've created these with themes. So this is values middle, like middle values busy, spacing differences, size differences, shapes on all the edges, which somebody made a comment earlier. You were talking about a bullseye. And she said she's so nervous about making a bullseye that she paints on the outside of the painting.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
makes a bullseye because
Yeah,
she's
no,
so
you can.
nervous to paint in the middle.
No, you
So
definitely can paint in the middle. No, you just,
yeah.
yeah. Do you want to click on one of those? You
Oh,
don't have to put the sound on, but just sort of show them what this looks like.
yeah. Let me just click here. And let me turn the volume down. Oh, it is down.
These are
guess I
the
could turn the
principal
volume up.
diagrams that we use to explain things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we always start with explaining it in this simple
Internet
way
plus point.
because you can remember it. And then we'll break into doing actual adjustments like I'm doing today, but on a specific challenge.
Oops, where are they? Sorry, I might have clicked on the wrong one. Here we go.
Yeah, so like this, I
Probably
don't know.
should speed it. Oh, there you go. There. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see, watch what happens. Is this playing, Terry? Yeah, watch what
Yes,
happens.
it's playing,
as
but
this-
but the thing is it
Put it on
you're
two
talking,
times speed. Put it on 2 times
right.
speed.
You're talking though, and you're explaining what you did so that people learn. So now here, this one's going to be good, I bet.
Yeah.
Speed, yeah.
Is that my painting?
It looks a
that's
little
my
bit like
painting.
your. Okay. Oh, here you go. Shoot, I was trying to scoot ahead, but see how you change the
Yeah,
value.
see that? Yeah, see how
That's
that
amazing.
value contrast and it breaking out of just, if all the values are all kind of stained together, there's an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so there's middle values, there's overly busy. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
challenges and we nail it. Like you will watch, a whole bunch of paintings being corrected in the area of difficulty you have, and that gives you the ability to then change it in your work.
Yeah, and there's color saturation. Color moves the eye around, reducing value to make stronger color, temperature differences. So there are so many image adjustments. And then we also have these little bite-sized videos, which are so cool. Oh, wait, let me click on a design week. So like the design week 5, these are just short little videos. They're probably like, okay, this one is 2 minutes and it's just talking about what is quiet conversation. And it just goes through, like, it just gives you little tidbits of what it is. And then these are just extra kind of bonus videos. But when you go into, like, let's say design and value, somebody had a question about how many lessons there are per week. So here they are: differences, design overview, design examples, value overview, value examples, the amusement park, patterns. These are all video lessons.
Yeah.
So over here are like extra things. And we have all this bonus material too, which is just really great interviews and great things that we thought were super important. There's some on inspiration and there's some on making
Can
art.
you click on one of the interviews, maybe like with Krista Harris or something, just show them what it is, like just learning from someone who's been painting their whole life and how they talk about what we're teaching in their way. And it's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fantastic. What she shares, so it's this kind of like, it's not repetitive, but it's iterative. And she is just such a sweetheart and she's so skilled.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a real honor to chat with her about how she approaches her art and how it relates to how we're teaching this.
Mm-hmm. Should I also show Susan's demonstration? Because she's working, or do you want to wait and or we should, maybe while we're in the portal, we should just show that really quick?
Real quick. We're going to be, because on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a huge interview with her, all about the coaching and everything. But this can give you a sense for those of you who didn't see, I think it was last Tuesday. This is kind of the typical of a coaching call. There's usually an assistant on the call. There's questions being answered, and it's a real let's see how this applies. Let's get these principles and how does it work? And she's using a photograph there, and she's painting something realistically. So we do a coaching call every single week.
Yeah, and Susan's talking over this, but she sped it up so you're not seeing like slow painting. So now you get to see this in real time, not real time, but like sped up time. Yeah. So she's telling you the marks she's making and why she's making them. And then she's showing you how to mix saturated colors. She's got this great recipe for that little blue right there that's so saturated. And watch when she puts this in. It's just really, truly amazing. I'll see if I can blow this up a little bit. There we go.
That's better, yeah.
Yeah, better. But look at that saturation. Like, that's just absolutely amazing. And then if we just pull it along just a little bit, let's see if it's like there, it's coming along. So you can kind of see it taking shape like her photograph. Yeah. And then she also shows, like, you know, people have asked, like, is this just for abstract painters? And here's another, I think she's doing a barn later on here. Or maybe she's doing, oh, maybe she was doing image adjustment videos later. Oh, look at that. Stunning.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really cool.
So,
that was
and
great.
now
I'm glad you
she's
showed
doing it. She's actually doing image adjustments too.
Right.
On some people's work. So that's really cool as well. So yeah, I just thought it was super important to see.
No, absolutely. That's
example.
great. Yeah, no, that was great.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the primary ways we teach using these image adjustments, because you can see it before and after, and nobody has to mess with your painting. We want you to go in and fix your painting. That's how you're going to remember it, you know? Okay. Good. Oh, we've got Nick just signed up. Congratulations. Awesome. Yeah, maybe we should, I haven't been totally checking the chat, but maybe maybe we should give a giveaway before we dive into this again.
Okay. I've got a really good one, and it's about somebody who, okay, here it is. Cynthia Shaw. So Cynthia, when you hear your name, please email us at cbp@art2life.com, and I have a trowel for you. Cynthia said, speaking of signing up, yes, getting rid of the seriousness. A more playful approach is exactly what I long for and why I signed up for CVP. And who doesn't want to feel more alive? So Cynthia, welcome to CVP. And I'm excited that you're going to feel alive and you're going to have a trowel.
Yeah. And these trowels, I mean, you guys, these trowels are amazing. They're this titanium, and they have this flex, and they have these round corners. It really is a thing. They really, we get them from Italy, believe it or not, and it's a pain to get them, and we never can get enough, but we just buy as many as we can. Because once we found them, it was like, my God, this makes such a difference. Because I've used the ones you can go to like a tile store and that you can use for applying cement. It sort of works, but these things they're next level. So they're really, really cool.
I'll tell you why they're next level, because this is kind of bendy, which is nice, but you have these rounded edges. Oh, look, I can see my reflection in there. You have these like rounded edges, like, and the other ones are sharp. So when you drag with a regular trowel, it kind of digs in that groove on the edge.
Yes,
so when they're round like this, yeah, they're like so much better, like that. You know, there's another person who joined, and this comment was inside the portal of somebody who's already in CVP and communicating with all the community in there. And she's from Paris, and it's Valerie. And she said, I'm so happy to be joining this course and this community. I enjoyed the free workshop so much. I am French and I live in Paris. I'm starting a 3-week trip to Thailand on Wednesday. Not the best timing. The beginning of the course will be quite a challenge, but I felt I couldn't miss this opportunity and wait for another year, so I'm here. I am a beginner who regularly buys cheap art supplies and doesn't know what to do with it. Otherwise, I'm a photographer and I would love to do paintings based on my photos. So welcome, Valerie. We're so happy to have you here.
Yes. And you can do, especially the first part, you know, we're going to be diving into the mindset stuff. Like, it's actually being in Thailand's a perfect place. So don't worry about that.
It's so inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do CVP from there the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, let's dive back in. I want to finish up these image adjustments. If you're done, do you have any more things?
You know, I just wanted to say, Sandra also joined us. She left a message in there. I joined CVP and started digging into the content. I so appreciate your teaching style. And Marie said, thank you for the 12-month plan. That will make signing up completely doable. Go for it. So, and then we had a great alumni comment, and she said, it was Melissa, and she said, as an alum, I can say to people on the fence that pretty much anything you can think of will be addressed in CVP. What isn't happening live is there, it's there in the archival material. So if you're on the fence, that should not be an issue. So I think she knows the extensive, I said it the other day, like, we've been doing this for so long and we've seen all the questions. And so we've taken those questions and we've answered them in the FAQ bank or in the bite-sized video or in the image adjustment video. So it's been years, I think this is the 8th year of collecting all of this data and all of these questions, and just, it's so extensive what's in there. The materials and the information that's inside CVP is just, it's amazing, the depth. So and
you know, there's something that when people ask a question and you try to answer it, and then you discover the one way that really helps people. And that's what's been happening for 8 years. People have the same kinds of challenges, and we've learned what's the fastest way to give you the information so you can like assimilate it and get it and move on. That's why the progress is so fast, because it's the answers that we're able to give and the way we give it. I mean, just like those image adjustment videos. I mean, it seems crazy, right? You could just show one time, but it's seeing it you need to see it in different kinds of artwork. You guys need to see it. Even if you're never going to do stained glass windows, it helps to see it in a sculpture. It helps to see it in garden design. It helps to see it in watercolor. Because it's a principle, and that's how you learn the principle. You see all these applications of it, and then you can apply it to your work.
Yeah, I always think that this type of thing is just like being an athlete. It's like that muscle memory, repeating things, and it just starts to become more natural. You know, if you got a forehand in tennis and you just do it 10,000 times, you don't have to think like, okay, drop my shoulder, turn my wrist, you know, follow through, like whatever. It just becomes, you know, automatic. The ball's coming and you line up and you nail the, you know, forearm. It's the same thing in painting. And I think the reason that, you know, you can paint intuitively is because you've just seen the image adjustments. Like, I knew what was going to happen. I haven't seen that image adjustment for so long, the one with the dots, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew that background was going to light up, and I knew there was going to be a break in the bottom. And it's only because I've just been trained for so long, for so many years working with you and seeing all this stuff. And I mean, it just is just ingrained once you start watching all these images over and over again. And it's not the same ones over and over again. It's just new things come, and it just automatically clicks in your own work. But when you don't have that on a consistent basis, you know, you kind of forget, you know, and then all of a sudden you're reminded again. And, you know, I would ask the alumni if they find the same thing when they come back to CVP and they watch it, and you can put it in the comments, like you watch something again, you're like, oh yes, it's even tools like, oh, I forgot about that tool, you know, like, right. Yes. Or I forgot about that texture. I can incorporate that. I forgot about those transfers, you know, like you can start putting those back in your work, because you kind of get stuck. Even experienced artists, they get stuck, they get in ruts. They get, you know, we talked about hot streaks before, kind of you get like in this area where you're just kind of going along, and then all of a sudden you're just reminded and you're refreshed about like all these possibilities. And it's good for beginners because this just cracks you open to the possibilities. So it just is like the whole gamut of people.
Yes, totally. Well said. All right. Okay, let's dive into these. We have a few more folks to do. Whoops, didn't want to do that. What, wrong camera? Okay. No, what am I doing? I don't want to do that either. Sorry. I do not want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to do this, and I want to share my screen. Okay. Back here. All right. So this was really cool. That was really interesting, that one. Okay. All right. So we looked here. We did this one. Let's look at this one. This is Vinny. Now, some great stuff going on here, right? Now, what I see here is there's a lot of same, right? The shapes are kind of the same size. A lot of them are broken up in a kind of the same way. You know, there's a similar thing. So, and the saturated red and the saturated blue are kind of canceling out each other a little bit, right? So there's some of the same things are here. So what I tried to do is just simplify this and take away some of the same things by modifying things. So I decided to go with more of a blue palette and make some simple dark areas as opposed to having everything be kind of broken up in the same way. And so that was kind of a beginning point here. Yes. Claire's saying it's been a long time since I felt refreshed my work. Oh, I just lost it. But yes, and I just, feeling refreshed in your work is so important, and you can make that happen for yourself. This is such an important thing, and that's what these principles do, because you can suddenly realize, oh my God, there's room, I have a way to approach something, and you can get a result, you can get an outcome that is different, and you can kind of learn. I thought this was pretty interesting. McCullough, and I believe that's your first name. Beautiful, right? Like this beautiful, like ink drawing, and then these leaves and that subtle gray area. But notice the similarity of things here, right? They're kind of, I mean, they're different, but they're kind of similar in a way. So we just have to accentuate some differences a little bit. So I kind of played around with that. And maybe I went a little far. I think I had too much coffee, but I love this drawing, and I really wanted that to show up. So what I did is I lightened this area over here, so we could see these I made these marks all in here much quieter, and so we could start seeing things. And I playing the delicate line work against these shapes. Does that make sense? So we have some solid shapes, and then we have this line work, you know? Okay. This was kind of interesting. Let me just get this. Okay, so this was Timothy's, and he had a bunch of them, but I just took one of them. And again, I think this is a pretty interesting, the breakup of space is cool, and it's just they're kind of fun, you know, but what do we have a lot of, or what do we have that's the same? So we have the colors are all kind of like it's bright, saturated yellow, saturated orange, saturated red, right? And then the blue, you know, so I'm going to limit something, reduce something. I want to show a color more than another color, at least so we have a sense of what Timothy loves. And where we have the value contrast right now, it's down here. There's our eyes going down here. Now, when you put dark outlines around something, it does tend to kind of work, like your eye goes up there, but it's much more powerful to kind of use sometimes line, but also bring in solids. So you can see that, you know, the saturated color here is orange, and I'm making it so the colors support that by being less saturated, being a little lighter, and our eye is moved around by value contrast. Okay. Yes, and Monica, you're absolutely right. I can see that it's all about knowing what you like and doing it. That's it. That's it. Learning what you like. That's not as easy as it sounds. And that's where the coaching comes in. That's what we're teaching people. That's where we're guiding you on a journey to learn what you love. It's not what we love, it's what you love, and learning how to show that and say it. Now, let me just check here. I just want to see. Okay, well, let's do this one. This is Megan's. And okay, a bullseye, right? You know, but God, look at this there's beautiful areas, but because this is right in the middle, we tend to keep our eyes focused there. So let's just see if we can move something around here and see how this works here. I'm going to do it slowly, so move it off the center. Okay, so now we have, but everything's on the side now. So let's bring this out a little, maybe. And maybe we need to have, we want to have something to look at in this center area. We don't want it to be huge, right? But there's some beautiful, beautiful stuff in here. So let's just bring some of this. Let's bring some contrast here, right? Let's bring some contrast up here. Let's get our eye over here. And I love this little arc here. It's so beautiful. Right? So maybe some of these, maybe knock this back a little bit so it's not so light. And maybe we bring some light down here a little bit more. I love this green. Maybe we bring more of that down here. Do you guys get it? Are you starting to see, like how this starts to work? You can be so loose with it, We want to give a journey to the viewer. Yeah. Now maybe I'll use this one. This is Mary's, and let's look here. So, we definitely are, what's cool about this picture is we've got these darks, these trees, they're, and we can vary it. So we can vary one of these trees. This is a realistic thing, but so let's take this and vary it. Whoops. Let's take this and vary this tree here. Okay. 1 second. Sorry here. There we go. Okay, we're up here. Let's have a little variation on these trees. Let's put one bigger one in, maybe. That will help, right? Maybe a couple over here, get a little bigger. Maybe we have a small little part of a tree that's growing, right? Like I've got to make this, it's got to be realistic, but you get small trees, you can have a small tree here, like right about there. Do you get it? It's like we can have smaller things. Now, look at what's happening. Do you see how? Okay, so now let's, and you have this kind of yellow up here, which is beautiful. I love how we're getting a little bit of yellow down here as well to move your eye around. So let's do a bit more of that. So I'll take some of this yellow and just bring it down into the snow a bit, just a little bit, just to move your eye around. And I love this blue up here. Maybe I'll bring some of that up here. Now, let's just make a little bit more of this. Right? Well, let's go for it and have some kind of color in here. And also, remember I talked a little bit about the whites, bringing up lights. So like this light area here, Let's just get this a little more delicate here. Let's bring up the whites a bit. Get a little bit more snowy, you know? Now, let me just adjust this. This is now this gray area, this gray has now become too dark because I lightened what's around it. So I'm gonna just adjust that. Now watch how the snow area, see this dark gray or this light gray? Watch how it gets more, it's better. Like this is worse, right? We don't want that. So that's what sort of has happened, exaggerating. Watch as it gets more subtle. Here comes the quiet conversation, right in there. You see that? That's really beautiful. Now, we've had some people talk about mid-value, right? Like, and you know, you can have a picture that is mid-value, right? That's totally fine. And I just want to demonstrate to you, like, if the design and the value is strong, like right now we've got darks and lights in this, but watch, I'm gonna sort of soften, I'm gonna bring the value contrast closer here, and you'll see it will still work. I'm gonna take this gray, and I'm gonna come in, let's see, okay. Now, this is a light painting, you know, like this is a light painting and it still works because this is just a quiet painting. These are your dark trees. This is your light value. It's dark. The pattern of dark and light needs to be seen clearly, and it can be done with mid value, but it's harder to do this. It's easier to learn like this. But yes, you can bring those values. And if you really want to make this like a super snowy, let's say we wanted to make this scene really snowy, like a whiteout, it'll still work. Let's add even more. Let's add some more light to this, and you'll probably still be able to see it. Okay. Like we can, this is a beautiful painting right here. It's all very light value. It still works. The principle holds because we can see clearly what's light and dark relative to the rest of the work. Okay. All right. Just wanted to talk about that. It's a bit sophisticated and goes along, you know. Anyway, here's Joanne's piece. Really cool, great colors. I just chose one side, you know, and just did a tour de force of the one side. That's it, you know. We know the part that Joanne loves. We now get a sense of we're being guided into this beautiful sky. The sky is beautiful here too, but it's also beautiful on the land. But now we have a point of view, and that's what we want to have. Darcy, I told you we had an image adjustment for you. Here we go. So really great, you guys. Lots of cool stuff. Ask yourself, where's my eye going? What is same? Where can we move our eye around? There's always something you can do. So I brought in some darks and just to sort of balance things out a little bit. Now looking at this, I think I've kind of overdone it a bit, and I probably would take this, it feels a little too strong, this part here. And I would fix that. I wouldn't probably make, this does not need to be as dark as I made it. It's a bit heavy-handed. So that's fine. You just come in and you can kind of like soften things. You can see it better. Maybe it's like that. It's a little better. Anyway, so, okay.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, you're popping on. Okay. I just wanted to give you a question that we need to clarify. So someone is saying, is learning Photoshop part of the program? And do we need to have the software? Is Photoshop needed? No, and I wouldn't recommend messing with the technology. You got to learn this in your art, okay? This is just a tool we use to teach. You know, you can learn to do this and change it in your work. I know you think it's like, oh, well, I can plan my painting out.
That's not going to serve you. You gotta learn that value scale. You gotta learn those colors. You don't want to just be like on a computer program, like sliding dials around. Trust me, it's much, much better to be able to look at your work and do this. You only use Photoshop because we don't want to take your original painting and change it. We want to be able to, so you can see a before and after, and it can be quick. Like we've looked at about 25, 30 paintings today in the last hour and a half. It's kind of amazing. We use it as accelerate the learning.
Yeah. People were asking, do you use it for your own artwork?
No, I don't actually.
I don't either.
No, I don't either. It's not interesting to me. I want to, it confirms when I'm using it. I use it so much in teaching. But no, I love looking at my work and I love sensing it and then trying something, because I know even if I don't get it right the first time, that there's going to be a history from it, and that's going to make the work better. Like you want to show the struggle in the work, all the little repetition, all the tries. That's what creates the richness for the viewer. It's not just doing it perfectly. It's trying something and then realizing that it wasn't quite right and then changing it back and going back. Computer doesn't have that richness. Your art does though. So once you realize that your tries are required and make the work better, then there you really can't lose, because now the idea of a mistake is gone. All you're doing is adding richness to the work, and it's just getting better as you're learning, better and better and better.
Yeah. So Janet said, I often work with hand-painted collage papers and acrylic paint. Will I still be able to work with this, or should I concentrate just on acrylics in CVP?
No, you can totally use collage. And that's a great tip. We should be demonstrating with that. It is so fun to use collage.
Totally.
It's the same thing, you guys. And we'll do that. Maybe I'll do it on Susan's call or something coming up. But yeah, complete the same. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Lori asked, and this was a little bit earlier on, but I couldn't ask it when it came up. How do you feel about us creating a cohesive body of work when we're just starting out? Do you feel it's important? Many people like to paint in different styles.
You want to be enjoying yourself, right? And what tends to happen is when you're starting out, you're trying a bunch of different things, and that's awesome and that's fun. But sometimes what can happen for you is it's not that you're going to choose one way to work. You're going to love one way to work for a short period of time. And I would suggest doing what you love for as long as you want until you start evolving into something else. Don't think of a style or a thing you figure out that then you do. You're just on your own creative path and you're discovering things and gassing on them. And that's what your work looks like now or for the next 3 weeks. And then it starts shifting and changing. So, so in the beginning, there's so much to try. And that's why we really emphasize playing and doing different things. As long as you're feeling excited, that's all that matters. And by the way, even if you're starting out, let's say you try doing something really colorful, or let's say you try doing something with a paint guide that's more controlled. Your fingerprint is all over that work. I know it's hard to see, but the way you are right now will make those different things more cohesive because you're the one doing it. You're the person, whether you're painting realistically and then you change to abstract work or drawing, it's got a feeling of you. It's like Terry's work feels like Terry's work. If she did sculpture, we'd all say, yeah, that kind of, I can see why, yeah, that's Terry. You are the common denominator, not the style, not the materials, it's you. And that is what we want to bring out.
Yeah, it's so true. It's kind of like that assemblage yesterday, that I did with Joe Brubaker, the collaboration we showed in the video yesterday. And it's funny because he built some of that, and he built those little like loopy things that are in my work. And when he delivered, I was like, have you seen my newer work? And we were like laughing about that because like you just kind of like that kind of led into doing the colors, and it was really amazing.
Yeah.
And Melissa had a really great comment. She said, painting is so sensual and the process is the joy. Using the computer would be removing that experience. And that's how I feel about that. Like I don't correct, test things or whatever. I think that you know, I was doing photography before, and when digital came out, I was so kind of not into it because it took away that tactile sense of loading film in a dark room and that little white, you know, the
Oh
little
yeah,
cage
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
the stop fix, and like
yeah, yeah,
it took all that away and took away like the knowledge you had to have of like reciprocity and depth of field and shine fluid method and all those things. And so when that all like left, and it was just, now I love my digital camera. Don't get me wrong, I love photography, but that's what made me go paint. So like doing a painting and fixing it on Photoshop for me would be kind of like, it just wouldn't, I agree with you 100% that it's such a sensual process that you got to have your hand, you got to get your hands dirty. That's how
yeah.
I
And
feel
I mean,
about like
and it's
painting.
great to use technology to like take a picture of it and have the website and look at befores and afters and post on Instagram. You know,
Oh
you're
no,
using it all
yeah,
the time, all the time.
yes.
And look at, you know, if you want to learn computer programs, I mean, you can learn Photoshop. You just need to like, there's a gajillion tutorials and it takes so many hours and you do a thing and you just sit there and learn it. So it's not that there's an amazing program. I mean, and there's incredible programs out there, you know, so
Oh yeah,
don't
there's a
feel
lot of
like we're
them.
like, don't use it. I mean, if that's what
Oh yeah,
lights you up, go for it, you know. But
totally.
as far as your
Yeah.
work, yeah, it's just, yeah, yeah,
And a lot of times those mistakes are what that you make on your painting is what peeks through a little crack of color, or like sometimes what you cover up when you make a
oh
mistake and then you
yeah,
cover up part of it, that's where the beauty comes, is all
yeah,
that
yeah,
history and all that depth. So if you're just doing it on a computer and on your painting, you're missing that whole, you know, kind of that the history of what you tried. And that's
yeah.
for me, that's a big component of my work, is the history of what's buried underneath that I covered up that I didn't like when I put that mark on there.
You know,
So,
I remember when I was learning typography, you know, in art school, we had to hand letter our name, and we had to do it in different fonts. We had to do it in Caslon. We had to draw it, our name, you know, and I had to do it in this script. And it was and with gouache and white paint. I mean, it's ridiculous, but you learned spacing of letters because you would just keep adjusting the widths. And I mean, I spent like 6 weeks on my name. Now, you could just print that on a computer, but man, do you learn spacing and dimensions and proportions and understand typography from doing that. So it's a lot like that. If you want to
yeah.
learn to use colors, get the paint and start mixing it and understanding. We go so much into color, temperature, and all cools and warms and the variants and all of that. Like you can learn it all, but I don't know how I would not try and do it on a computer.
Yeah. You know, there's another question here. Somebody says, I'm ready to make the leap, but worried that since I don't have Facebook or Instagram, that I will miss out on too much.
No, because you have this. This is a huge part of the call. If you enjoy listening and being part of these calls, this is a huge part of it. So we've got these coaching calls. I've got my live call, which is this, you guys, but they're more fancy because there's more demonstrations and there's more of a presentation and they're just power packed. But then we have all the video lessons, and then you have all on the portal, the website, where people are asking questions. That's where all the questions are being answered. It's not in Facebook. It's not on Instagram. It's in the portal. We want everyone's there. So you got plenty to do, believe me.
Yeah. And speaking of the portal and people being there, under every single video that's in the portal, there's room for comments and questions. And so the coaches and Nick are in there and answering questions. Every single question is answered. And there's also alumni in there and other artists, of course, and they're answering questions and they're
Yeah.
commenting. So there is an area where if you're not on Facebook or Instagram, that you can communicate, plus the member directory, where you can find people who live near you or find artist styles that you like and you can reach out to them. So you have that as well. So it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
have Instagram or Facebook, but the portal itself, just know that every single question regarding the materials and the teaching in
Yeah.
CVP is
Yeah.
answered, every single one. So
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
take a lot of pride in. And like somebody, I think you said it, we're a customer service company that teaches art because our
No, it's
customer
really true. We're
team
very,
is
very good at it.
amazing.
I hate to
Yeah.
boast, but
No,
knock it out
but
of the
it's
park.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really true. So I think we're getting close to the end, but I just wanted to mention a couple of things, and you can elaborate on one of these a little bit more. But first of all, the artist party is tomorrow, and I know we talked about it at the beginning of this call.
Yeah.
And we have about, I think, 12 or 13 artists who have been through CVP who are coming to talk about their experience and the transformation in their art and in their lives. It's a really inspiring call.
Yeah.
So if you
yeah.
can make it, it's from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 hours. If you can't make it for the whole time or even make it live, we have it recorded and you can watch it at a later time. So just know that it starts tomorrow at 12, and the team will be on there too, and we'll be showing artwork from the team members also. And the second thing, Nick, was we talk a lot about doing art and painting and whatever, but we do have a bonus. Well, we have 3 bonuses for CVP when you sign up, but the one I wanted to point out was the selling art business primer bonus. And if you want
how to sell your art. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How to sell your art. Yeah. So the first primary thing that my focus is on is getting your work. You saw it today, getting your work just at that next higher level. That's really what makes it possible to sell your work. I mean, I know that most programs out there, business of art, we just need to learn how to do Instagram. It's not that, it's making your work amazing. And that's the bigger lift. That's a harder thing to teach, but that's what we do. Now, yes, when you start getting your work stronger, you're going to need to know some fundamental ways of getting your work out there, how to price your work, all of that, and we have that. That's what we do with this. It's pretty extensive webinar that we do at the end of the Creative Visionary program. We don't want you even thinking about selling your work or worrying about that. We want you learning your art in these 12 weeks. But after that, we do this business primer and we go over, pricing. As I said, we go over gallery stuff. We go over just the psychology of it. And I'm taking the principles that we've already learned, right? Like a lot of the things we do, the process of making our art applies to selling our art and promoting our art. So it's kind of great because I teach you the simple things, the most important things that you can do to sell your work, to make it so other people can see it and they desire it and want it. Just like I teach you the simple things that you can do, demonstrated today on this call, to improve your art so you'll like it, right? They're similar, it's not rocket science. There's a logical kind of way of doing this, hierarchical way. There's things that matter and things that don't matter, and you want to do the things that matter first. Things like your mailing list, things like your website. We go over all of that, okay? So it's all about building a following and getting your work out there and sharing what you're truly doing. It's so interesting and so inspiring for people to see what you are doing and you're trying to do, and sharing that is just a huge gift. So we have a lot to share and talk about in terms of this promotion and selling of your art. And but we kind of wait on that because we're going to be focusing on your plan, your dream, what it is that lights you up, where you want to go with this. And we need you to think really big. It's not about other people yet at all. This is all about you. And that's where we're starting on Thursday. This Thursday, actually, is the welcome call. Yeah.
And can you speak a little bit about, there's a question about individual feedback in CVP.
Yeah, so I chose some work today. I just grabbed some work. There's probably hundreds of pictures that I could have talked about, and I happened to grab Darcy. And so I guess today I was working with Darcy. But don't you think that every single person on this call was learning? And I would argue that maybe many of you are able to see Darcy's work more objectively than she can. And it's probable that it's even more helpful for you than Darcy, for you to see that change we made on her work. This is how we coach. Creative Visionary Program is a group coaching program because it works. It's so powerful to see multiple examples. I mean, it's kind of amazing, right? Like I never reach to the computer and grab your paintbrush. I mean, today at Terry, I was grabbing at the crayon, but I'll never touch anyone's art. No one who's ever done the Creative Visionary Program. There's no one who is like, they're in galleries. People are getting work in museums. People are doing all kinds of stuff. We've been doing this for 8 years. I never touched their work. I probably never talked individually about their work. I mean, maybe sometimes we look at a ton of work, tons of paintings we're talking about. But I would never say to Darcy, hey, I promise you on Thursday, I might choose your work. We're looking for the common challenges and we're showing you how to fix that. And we're using everyone's work to do it. So that's what we do. And that's why it works. It's a different kind of learning. It's not based on having one teacher and 3 students and the teacher coming over and doing a thing on your work. We're teaching you how to fish, not putting the fish on the plate for you. I know it sounds crazy, but it's powerful and it's fast and it really, really works. And, ask any of the alums that are here. It's like, I might not have ever commented on their work. It doesn't matter. We're all in the community and we're all doing it. So yeah, so that's sort of how and why it works so well.
Yeah, really great points that you just made. Really great points, because we've been doing it for so long this way now,
Yeah.
and we know that it's working. I mean, it's
Yeah.
obvious. And
you come to the artist party. Well, here's 14 people that we're going to catch up on, and we're just reaching out to people, and we're going to be filled in on the progress they're making, and it's just, you just see, this is typical of what happens, where people go with their work. I mean, it's really, really inspiring, and because they've learned things that move them down the field,
Yeah. I saw a team member, a message pop up from a team member, and it's funny, I had this queued up because I was going to say, it's about also like taking CVP, and if you live in another country, if you can't make it live or whatever. And when we first logged on today and you were saying hi to everybody, I saw Nova Scotia, Denmark, Sweden, Bahamas. I saw like people from all over the world, and I thought it was just so fascinating. They just come in really fast. And, we've had Nick has signed up. I'm not sure where Nick is from, but also Danielle from Switzerland has signed up. We have people from, I read it yesterday, but like Barbados, Tasmania, Australia, the United Arab Emirates last year. I'm talking about last year. This program, everything is recorded. So if you miss the lives, if you can't make it, if they're in the middle of the night for you, but we picked 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, California time, because I think it's kind of one of those times that you might have to get up early in some locations and you might have to stay up late in other locations. But, it's kind of like that time is kind of almost everybody can make it. But if you can't make it live, don't fret, because we everything's recorded. You can watch it in the portal. So we got you. Don't worry about that.
And here's the thing, we have a money back guarantee, but if you're learning something today or yesterday or the day before or, a week ago, because we've been going now, like trying to teach as many people as we can in this time. And it's, there's a huge win here, because we know that a lot of folks aren't going to come in and do the program because they're in different places. But for those of you who are, this is what it's like. I mean, if you're going to continue to learn, if you can understand what we're saying and how we're teaching, that's a really good indicator. But come into the program and see if it's a right fit. That's why we have a 30-day money back guarantee. And it's like, you'll get a complete, like full, you'll know 1,000%. But I have a feeling if you're here, you kind of know already, because you're here because you're learning, and you're learning because it's the way we do this. And it's not for everyone, we know, but this is how it's helped us. And this is what's worked for me. And it's worked for thousands of people. And tomorrow, the artist party, it's really for this team, it's for us, it's like a celebration, because it's the absolute like win for us to see people that are on their own, that are doing this, and they're all winning in their own ways. Like some people are just like making it and they've quit their jobs. They're doing their art all the time. Other people are just making work they love. Other people have gone into sculpture, wherever it is. They've taken the information that we teach, the approach to art life, and they're using it and putting it together in their own way. And when you see it, man, it's just the most gratifying feeling. So I'm just so proud of what's going to happen tomorrow. And I hope you guys can come and see it. It's super emotional for us because it's the epitome of what we do, you know?
Yeah, it's so true. There's a question about if you can do CVP on your phone or if you need a laptop or a computer.
Yes, you can use your phone. Some people probably are on their phones now, you know. Some people use an iPad. Some people have even hooked it up for their television and their whole family has watched it. You know, I've seen that before. But no, you know, a laptop, whatever works for you. I mean, a phone seems kind of small, but I watch a ton of stuff on my phone. So, it works on a phone for sure.
And there's another, just to quickly go over what the schedule looks like for CVP. So the content is released on Monday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And Nick does a group call on Tuesdays at noon. We try to keep everything at noon. That's 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The coaching calls are on Thursday. And then starting week 4, we include a pop-up call, which is Nick. Basically, it's a very casual call, Nick answering questions. So those are basically the high points of like what the schedule is like on a weekly basis.
Yeah. And there's bonus content, and there's the image adjustment videos, and then there's all the lessons, and then the art practice. So there's but that's always going. And there's just these calls, you know.
And then Sandy, one of our alums, just popped a comment, and she said, I look at it this way. It's 12 weeks of lessons that you can stretch out over 12 months. So go at your own pace and let go of the fear of missing out, FOMO.
Yeah.
She wrote that.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that people who come in the first time, they have that. And then almost across the board, when people come back the second time, because you will, then they're like, God, I'm so glad. I was so worried in the beginning, the first time. Now I can just relax, you know? And I think the 12 payment plan is going to be really helpful for people because it just makes it like, you want to think of this as a year program, and we discount it so heavily. So next year, it's a no-brainer. And so it's going to be like, you're going to continue with this study ongoing, and your work's just going to get better and better and better. I mean, people come back and do this multiple times, 3 times, 4 times. I mean, it's pretty cool. And I know that because we know all the alumni who are here.
And we try to make things as easy as possible and eliminate obstacles. So when you come in too, we have a little calendar link that you click, and all of the dates and times go on your calendar, and they go on your calendar for your time zone. But we also give you a time zone converter. So we try to think about everything so you don't miss a call or when things are going on. So just so you know that. And I think we've pretty much answered quite a few things. And I think we had one more prize to give away. And where'd it go? Oh my goodness, where's my prize? I was going to do the paint scraper. Oh, here, I got it. I was going to do the little paint guide that I used today and the little bowl scraper that we use for spreading paint. And it's going to go to Mariana Beekeeping. I thought I said bookkeeping. Beekeeping. These things are so small, you guys. Like, give me these things bigger. I need better glasses. Okay. All of this information makes me realize that I have been stuck in the shallow side of the pool, and now I need to be courageous and jump into the deep end of the pool.
That's beautiful.
So
wow.
If you heard your name, Marina, just send us an email at cvp@art2life.com.
All right. Okay.
Let me check to see if there were any other announcements from the team, but I think we're good to go.
All right, you guys, listen, thanks so much for being here. It's just a privilege to work with you and to see all your work. And it's amazing, and the progress that people are making. You are so getting this. And I can just tell, you guys are learning this. It's really, really cool. So anyway, thank you. And tomorrow, Artist Party, be here at 12 o'clock. It's going to be amazing. Okay.
Yep.
Bye, everyone. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Ferris,
Yep.
AJ,
Thanks.
and
Thanks for
Brandon,
guiding my
Mariah, and all the folks, all